Wild Running, Part 2, Chapter 5. Tori groaned as she swatted at her alarm clock. She rolled out of bed and automatically started getting ready for the day. She stumbled down the stairs, still groggy, and took the cup of coffee Sean handed her with a grateful murmur. She took a couple of sips and looked out the window. She smiled at the sunshine and turned to Sean. "We should probably talk about what happened the other day," she suggested, peering at him over the rim of her mug. Sean nodded. "Will you go out with me?" he asked, and was gratified to see the shock on her face. She shook her head in denial. "You don't want to go out with me, Sean," she told him insistently. Sean just looked at her and raised a single eyebrow. "Oh, and why would that be?" She waved an impatient hand up and down, indicating her figure. "I'm short and fat," she explained bluntly. He snorted. "You are not. You're vertically challenged and curvy. I find you very attractive." He moved closer and took a handful of her hair, crushing the silky mass in his fist and tugging gently to force her to meet his gaze. "You have flawless skin despite your need to cover it up with makeup. Your hair is like a silky black waterfall, and your figure is lush and curvy. You are definitely not fat," he told her firmly. Tori's eyes burned, and she blinked to prevent emotional tears. She dated on and off for over the years, quite a bit before they bought the farm, but never once had the guy she dated ever call her flawless or attractive. "Tori, go out with me," he cajoled softly when she didn't reply right away. She pulled away and paced to the door. "I want to, I do, but I just can't." He moved up behind her and wrapped his arms around her lower ribs. "Why can't you?" She pulled away again and turned to face him. "I don't know, I just can't." "That's not an answer, Tori." She sighed. "It's the only one I have." "Until you have a real answer, I refuse to accept that," Sean said, his temper finally rising. He took a cup out of her hand, set it with a thud on the counter, and yanked her into his arms and set her world on fire. Wow, I definitely wrote this a long time ago, because I would not write that now. She could taste his anger and his passion, could feel it smoldering under his typical facade of amusement, and all the reasons not to be with him were replaced by him. By the way he smelled, all cinnamon and horses. By the way he felt, solid and strong as he held her, his grip gentle but unbreakable. He finally released her and turned back to his cooking without a word. Tori stood there and slowly got mad. How dare he just kiss her and walk away like that? How dare he force her to face the feelings she didn't want to risk having? She stalked up to him and poked him in the chest. "You want to know why I can't go out with you?" she demanded, her eyes sparkling with her fury. "Because I already care about you, and I'm afraid that I could fall in love with you, and I don't want to risk you hurting me." She turned her face away, but he grabbed her arm and pulled her into him and just held her. She didn't struggle, just let the tears fall silently while she struggled to compose herself. "I'm scared too," he admitted. "Can't we just be scared together?" She just stood there for a minute, absorbing his strength while she composed herself. "I don't know." "Try. Trust me, Tori, please." He looked so sincere, and she already cared about him. "Hey, Sam and I set a date," Anya said as she breezed into the room, cutting off whatever Tori had been about to say. She stopped as she took in the scene. "What's wrong?" she asked, instantly concerned. Tori took a deep breath and pulled out of Sean's arms. "Nothing's wrong. Sean and I are dating now." Anya's face was priceless, puzzled and cautiously happy at the same time. "You don't look too happy about it," she pointed out. Sean and Tori exchanged a look. "It's very new," Tori explained, suddenly amused by the entire situation. Anya shook her head in amused confusion. "Well, you already know my news, so what's for breakfast?" "I made apple cinnamon muffins with oatmeal streusel," Sean said, indicating the covered basket on the island. "Oh, Sean, that sounds amazing," Anya gushed. She uncovered the basket and inhaled the apple pie scent and picked one up. It was still warm. She took a bite and closed her eyes. "You are amazing." "So that's why you smell like cinnamon," Tori commented under her breath. Sean grinned at her and went back to work, cleaning counters and stacking dishes while the girls drank coffee and ate the muffins. "You need to either make more of these or hide them so only we can have them," Anya said. "I don't think I even want to share with Sam." Tori nearly choked on a chunk of apple and nearly fell off her seat with laughter. Anya glared at her. "What? It's not that funny. I think you've lost your mind today. I really do." Tori sobered up with effort, but her eyes were still sparkling. "Where is Sam, anyway?" Anya looked guilty for a minute, a sly smile slowly lighting her face. "He's outside with Dazzle." "How early did he get here?" Tori asked with an answering grin. "At dawn." Sean shook his head. "If he was here, I would have to make a whipping sound effect." Anya whacked him on the arm and finished her coffee. "You would not. I just think he's besotted with her. Did you guys have any idea that he's a dog person?" "I'm not really surprised. I think most horse people like dogs," Sean said, and Tori nodded. Anya snagged another muffin and stood. "I've got to get to work. It's a beautiful day and I have horses to train." She grabbed a bottle of water from the fridge and saluted Sean with the muffin and left. Congratulations, he called after her, then looked at Tori. We kind of ignored her big announcement. Tori frowned. What big announcement? She'd been so wrapped up in Sean she hadn't heard what Anya had said. They set a date. Are you serious? She demanded, then raced after Anya without waiting for a response. You chose a date, she demanded when she caught up. Anya stopped and turned. We did. When? It's going to be a Christmas wedding. Tori squealed her excitement and threw her arms around Anya. That's so great and so soon. We need to get to work right now. Jerry watched April and Blake embrace in front of the barn and had to resist the urge to break it up. Haley thought they were good for each other, and he knew that Blake cared for his daughter. But it was still strange for him to see his daughter like that, to think of her as an adult. Haley wanted grandchildren now, but he wanted April to be their baby for a bit longer before pressuring her into having her own babies. Haley didn't share his desire. Jerry, don't they look so good together? Haley sighed dreamily and put her arm around her husband's waist. Yeah, great. She sighed at his tone. Jerry, you'd better quit it with that attitude. After all the pressure we've put on April to find a good guy and settle down, the least you could do is try to like him. Jerry sighed heavily and nodded. I suppose I haven't given the boy much of a chance, have I? No, you haven't. You decided that you didn't like him long before we even decided to visit here. She's my baby. I know, honey, but we asked for this with all the times we pressured her to find a man. Now that she has one, we can't just write him off. Now go talk to that boy and get to know him a bit, she insisted. Jerry finally gave in. All right, fine. I'll see. He knew better than to argue with his wife. She'd just wear him down with her acerbic tongue until he did it anyway. He wasn't a very happy man. Haley smiled fondly at her husband, and he pecked her on the lips before heading to the barn to find and talk with April's man. Young man, he called when he saw Blake ahead of him. Blake turned. Yes, sir. How can I help you? Jerry refused to like that the boy called him sir. I'd like to talk to you. Walk with me? Blake looked towards the barn longingly, but nodded and fell into step with April's father. How long did you two date before getting married? Blake frowned. April didn't tell you? Jerry's dark brows came together in a thunderous expression. Tell me what? Blake blew out of breath and decided that April had had plenty of time to come clean on her own. Sir, April and I have only been dating for a few months. We're not married. Jerry stopped dead in his tracks. You're not married? He repeated slowly. Nope. If it was possible, Jerry's expression became even darker and more forbidding. Well then, when are you going to make my little girl into an honest woman? He demanded, his voice raised. Blake shrugged, refusing to be intimidated. When we're ready. Jerry stepped closer to Blake and pointed his finger at his face. You'll marry her, and you'll marry her soon, he decreed, and began muttering under his breath. His wife was not going to be happy. Blake didn't catch much, but he definitely heard lying and good for nothing among the nicer words. He fought back a grin and steered Jerry back toward the barn. I think you should probably be talking to April about all this, Blake told him. I think she's doing stalls at the moment, so it shouldn't be too difficult to find her. They approached the stall April was working in. You didn't marry this boy, Jerry demanded. Blake beat a hasty retreat, ignoring the glare April sent him. She slowly propped her pitchfork up against the wall and faced her father's wrath. No, Daddy, I didn't, she agreed, tilting her chin up defiantly. Why not? What's wrong with him? April made a scoffing noise. You ask that now, after being totally against him since you got here? Now you want me to marry him? Jerry ran a hand through his dark hair and grunted. You and Mom have been after me since the day I turned 18 to find a nice boy, settle down, and raise a few kids. I plan to do those things, Dad, but they have to be with the right man at the right time. She stepped closer and took his forearms in her hands. I love you, and I want you to be proud of me, for me, not for my man or my kids. I may just marry Blake. He's a great guy, and I really care about him, but I won't marry him until I love him, and I'm sure that he loves me. Jerry pulled her into a hard hug. How did we manage to raise such a wise woman? He murmured to her. Baby, I'm proud of you, for you. I couldn't be prouder. I love you, baby girl. He didn't tell her that he blustered because he felt he had to keep his wife happy. He wouldn't let his messed up marriage spoil his daughter's happiness. He just hoped she made better decisions than he had, was proud of her for taking her time despite the pressure he and Haley put on her. He was ashamed of himself for not standing up for himself or for his daughter. He would now. He had to make it right. I love you too, Daddy.